3 minutes on average, someone is killed in a drunk driving crash. We've been here about 2 hours. About 2 hours. So at least 2 people have died since we've been sitting here in some. But watch this. Every 90 seconds, that's a minute and a half, someone is injured. Now notice, there are more people really injured, I said that, than people die. And let me tell you about a drunk. I've worked a lot of accidents where people were drunk. They killed passengers in other vehicles and they walk away without a scratch. And somebody asked me, how can that be? Let me tell you how that can be. If you ever been in your car and you was about to hit something, the first thing you do is grab that steering wheel and you tense up. And if you have an impact, it's going to break something. Well, the drunk driver, he just kind of bounces around limbo in the vehicle. And when the accident occurs, well, he's just limbo. He's not even aware as to what's going on. So he just goes with the flow. While you knew you was about to be hit from behind, first thing you do is tense up. After it's over, whiplash and your back is injured. The drunk walks away without a scratch. Without a scratch. But now look at this scary statistic. 50 to 75% of convicted drunk drivers, these are people that have went to jail. These people have lost their driver's license, shouldn't be driving, and guess what? They're out there tonight riding around. They shouldn't be driving. They do not have a license. And that's 50 to 75% of the people. I'm wrapping this up. But before I leave you, I have a story to tell you. Earlier, you saw the video. The video was touching. I've given you statistics. We don't drink, but there are people out there that drink. I have a story to tell you. Listen to this story.
It's right there in the front.
It was September 1999.
Right there by the pastor.
A young lady was driving home from a party, birthday party. Her and a couple of her friends.
Thank you, Pastor.
She was struck by an 18-year-old high school student, and we're going to call him Reggie. Reggie had been out partying, drinking with his friends. This girl named Jacqueline was a passenger in the front seat when Reggie hit them in the side. She was pinned in the seat. Within a few seconds, the vehicle that she was riding in caught fire. It burned over 60% of her body. Now this girl, Jacqueline, she was in the United States to learn English. She was from Venezuela. She had 2 friends in the car. Both of her friends were killed in this accident. Both of them were killed. But Jackie didn't die. Jackie didn't die. But Jackie was so badly burned. Now y'all listen to this closely. She lost the use of both of her hands. Her hands were so badly burned, her fingers were gone. She lost all of her hair. She lost her left eyelid, which later she went blind in that eye. She lost her nose. She lost both of her ears. Jackie has been through more than 40 operations, and she's still going through different surgeries. That's Jackie. That's the car she was in. This is the passenger, I'm sorry, this is the driver's side, the steering wheel. Jackie was on the other side. And I said that Jackie was pinned in the car. And Jackie was burned over 60% of her body. This is Reggie. Reggie was 18 years old. He was the person driving the car that hit Jackie. On his 20th birthday, he went to court and he was found guilty of 2 counts of intoxication manslaughter.
Hold on.
Reggie was sentenced to 7 years in jail and a $20,000 fine. He never forgave himself for taking that drink and driving his car. In 2005, Reggie went before the parole board, but his parole was denied. Now, Jackie, and I'll give you, if you want to read this whole story, it's a very touching story. Jackie forgave him. Jackie forgave him. But the family of the other two girls couldn't, so he had to stay there 7 years. But in 7 years, he earned an associate degree. And he was released after serving 7 years in prison. And he earned a degree while he was there. This is Jackie. Jackie now lives in Kentucky. She's still undergoing skin grafts. Specialists are working to, if you can see here, her fingers are gone. But specialists are working to try to rebuild her right hand. She did resume her studies. Not everybody who gets hit by a drunk driver dies. Not everybody who gets hit by a drunk driver dies. Please don't drink and drive. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. This will conclude my presentation.
Not the camera. Is he finna wrap it up?
As you all was praying for one another,
Questions?
the young lady who we were praying for at the altar, she was hit by a drunk driver on Otis. And that's why she couldn't bear to see the video. But it's so serious, and I just thank you. Oh my God, I just feel the presence of the Lord here. And I just want you to pray for those that are in church really tonight, just because it's New Year's Eve. But they know they have another agenda after church.
Yeah. Let me do this because we're getting ready to dismiss it. That correct? Okay. I wanna introduce my guests because this is the night. It's raining.
Amen.
We most of us have a second service that we're going to. But again, I want to start with my pastor, Pastor Dodine, and the minister first, Pastor Thompson. He's a pastor of First Faith Baptist Church, Reverend Thompson. Got my friend, one of my real good friends, Robert Shaw. Next to Robert Shaw is Mike Crutchfield and his wife. Behind him hiding, if you come this way, Miss Williams. Miss Williams and I, we go around and see who can beat each other to the churches. On this side, we have one of my members, and pastor, next to Pastor Lily Douglas. Robert Wright on video back there. I had a couple other members from our church that was here, but they had to leave again. Their service started a little early. So silly. And you have Robert Wright back here on the video. But, I wasn't finished with her. So I had to save the best for last. And the person that watches over me when I sleep, and along with the Lord. But listen, that is the last face I see before I go to sleep, and that's the first face that I see when I wake up. And she is my rock. She keeps me in line, and she tells me all the time, "You scare some people, but you don't scare me." But that's the love of my life, Dewana Otis. But if there is nothing else, I would like to relinquish myself and just give my pastor the opportunity to do that, if you will. Pastor, if you will come forward. Did anybody, Pastor, did anybody have any questions, statements, or comments? That's why I said it was graphic, because if you have been involved in an accident of any kind and you walked away from it, but this kind of stuff is on the internet, but it's something to read her story, and it's something to look at the videos, and this girl is still going. I gave you the good part of it here. But if you go on the internet, you know, it touches you. But tonight, even though we're not going to be drinking and driving, when we leave our service, it will be after midnight. People don't realize when you shoot those guns, bullets go up. But here's what they don't understand. They come down with the same velocity that they went up.
That's right.
But if nobody have any statements or comments or anything like that, Claude, Reverend.
Yeah, wasn't quite sure when you said that when you go in and get your driver's license, that when you sign for your driver's license, you automatically
Agree that if you get stopped by a police officer,
then I cannot deny.
you cannot deny. And if you have an accident and it's bad, and you have to be transported, and they suspect you been drinking, they're gonna come to the hospital and they're gonna draw your blood, and you can't say anything about it.
That's right.
Okay, but even if I don't have to go to the hospital or anything, I still have to go through that.
Well,
Even
again,
if I say no.
no, don't get me wrong. I gave you the consequences if you say no. But the law says you have to comply. But listen, you have a right to deny it. But if you deny it, the consequences will be you will lose your driver's license automatically for 180 days for the refusal. For the refusal. For the refusal.
I have a comment. One night I was driving in Keithville. I had took the family home, and I thought somebody was following me, so I was trying to get out of a different lane. But it was actually a sheriff, and so he pulled me over. And the first thing he asked me was, he said, "Let me check your eyes to see if you've been drinking." Then he said, "I don't smell alcohol on you." He said, "But you were wiggling all over the line." He said, "And I just wanted to make sure you wasn't drinking." But he carried me through so much other things, and I was like, "Well, sir, I have not been drinking." I said, "I just left church. I'm a pastor." He said, "Yeah, everybody says that."
Right.
Should have got his badge number.
But remember I said, if the officer has reasonable cause, his reasonable cause,
Was I was wiggling.
yeah, you should have said, "Man, you've never driven in Shreveport with all these potholes?"
Well, I told him I thought he was following me,
Okay.
and he was.
Reasonable cause. But again, if we're in a position to where we can stop somebody from drinking and driving, we will in turn stop a lot of the accident. Pastor, will you please come forward? Appreciate everybody. Little girl, come on forward, Pastor, but the young lady has a question.
How old is the girl now? The one that had got him?
It was 1999 when it happened. She was 17 years old, so 1999. But listen, the last image you saw of her, that image will never change because she lost so much. But she's living in Kentucky, and again, when I read the entire story, it came to a period where they couldn't find her, and they think that she went back to her native country, which is the Venezuelans. I think, am I pronouncing that right? Venezuela?
You are.
Okay. Pastor, will you come forward?
You got one more
but
question
Pastor
up in
can
front.
come forward. I'll still take the question.
Mine is very, very quick. I just want to, my name is Monica Holden Price. I want to thank God for what you've done and Pastor everybody. And I just want to say, I thank God that you had this here earlier, so we can use wisdom and get off the road. And I know everybody celebrates. And I was like, oh my goodness, I got to get off, fear was trying to come in, and I got to get these kids home and get off the road tonight. So it just really just bring, about reality.
Yes,
and I just want to thank you for that.
You're so welcome, my Facebook friend. And here's the thing. We cannot live in fear. My pastor says this all the time, and I do listen to you. We cannot stick our head in the sand, but we can play a part in this. We can play a part, but we cannot just go in and live like hermits, live like we're afraid to come out. It's forces out there. How about believing this? Stay prayed up. And I believe he'll wrap his arm of protection around you and protect
My
you
Lord.
from any. I feel it coming on.
Pastor.
Yes, sir.
Let's show some love to this pastor for being visionary to have this kind of program here. We're all spiritual people, but we live here.
Yes.
We live here. We are citizens of two countries. So it is important that we listen to our preacher pastors and our spiritual leaders, but we need to learn as much as we can, because it is